What's up, everybody? And this is a episode of Ask PJ, but I am not getting asked anything. I am asking all the questions, and I have a very special guest with me today. And I am going to say, this is a very bold statement, that after my mom, my favorite cooking is from Alexis, CEO of Made2Macro, and she's sitting with us in here today.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Does that make you proud that
I'm really proud right now.
Because if you're Italian, that's a big fucking deal.
That's a huge fucking deal.
Yeah. I love my mom's cooking. She'll say that she's too tired to cook now, and she's past that stage in life. But for my birthday every year, she still will make me chicken parmesan because that's my favorite.
I like eggplant.
See, my sister likes eggplant.
I gotta have the eggplant.
The whole idea of an eggplant kind of freaks me out.
Why?
Because it's a vegetable, and it's just...
You gotta get them in sometimes.
I don't know. It's just a big purple vegetable like that.
It's delicious.
All I think about is when I see eggplants is mandango. So it's I stick to... Some people like veal parmesan. That kind of freaks me out too.
I really do like veal.
Veal is good. It's just the whole idea of it freaks me out a little bit.
It's really tender though.
Yeah, it's good.
Some onions on top.
I stick to chicken though because I don't give a shit if they kill all those chickens.
That's true. Chickens are disgusting.
All right, so
Chickens are gross.
I'm going to make you tell a lot about yourself today.
Ooh, okay.
So we're going to go back in time. It's going to be fun because I know a lot of it, but there's a lot I don't know. So I'm interested in learning a bunch of this stuff too. So I might ask you questions that you might think are annoying, but
No, it's fine.
I think everybody else will think that they're interesting.
Cool.
All right. So you grew up where?
I grew up in Tampa, Florida, in Ybor City area. My dad was a firefighter, so he was on and off, 24 hours on, 48 hours off. So he was working a lot. My mom was a paralegal. I spent a lot of time with my great-grandmother in Ybor City. She was of Cuban descent, barely spoke any English.
And whose side is that on?
This is on my dad's side.
Okay.
She was the best cook. So I spent a lot of time with her. She was my best bud. And she sadly passed away when I was 18. So I was very lucky, though. I got to know my great-grandmother until I was 18. So not a lot of people get to do that. So that was pretty cool. But, yeah, grew up in Tampa. I'm a fourth-generation native. Huge bloodline there with the Urso family. That's my maiden name, Urso. We've been there for a really long time, going back from all the cigar manufacturing plants there.
So if you did one of those like Me 23s, what does your percentage of your ethnic background work out to be?
So Western European. What's funny is that actually I have a 2% African in there.
Damn, I'm so jealous. I wanted that 2% African so bad so I could be a part of the BLM, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, sorry. I got that, though. So, but because Sicily, where my dad's family is from, his dad's side, is so close to that northern Africa.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of commingling there, which is cool. It's probably why I get so tan. So that's cool. But yeah, we're from that side, the western half. And then my mom's side, we just found out, her family is Irish and from the Netherlands.
Oh,
which
wow.
is really cool.
Yeah. So you have...
So I'm a really weird mix.
How did the Cuban get in there?
My father's mom. My father's mom was Cuban. My father's dad is Sicilian, which is a typical Tampa family. Tampa is going to be Sicilians and Cubans.
And how... I knew Cubans, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the Sicilians.
Huge. A lot of meat markets.
How did the Sicilian and the Cuban, how did they meet?
High school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, high school. My grandparents owned a grocery store. They met in high school and hit it off from there.
So she was born here. She didn't come on one of those rafts.
Nope.
By the way, shout out to all the Cubans that have come here on rafts. I know a lot. It sounds funny.
My family actually did not do that at all. They actually migrated through Ellis.
I had family that came through Ellis
yeah,
also.
they lived in New York for a while before they came down here. and built a typical shotgun. They call it shotgun home in Ybor City.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a quick little side story that I didn't think that I was going to tell today, but one of our UPS drivers, awesome guy, he came here from Cuba. And the reason that we know his story is because when everything was going on with the election, he came in angry one day. And he was saying that it really bothered him that so many people were saying that Trump is racist and that he hates the illegals and all this, because he was like, my family, he was like, we came here from Cuba. He goes, we came here on a raft.
Yeah.
And he was like, people died along the way. He's like, we came here on a raft, and we've worked hard to have amazing opportunities for our lives. And he was like, and it's scary that so many people don't understand the opportunities that we have had.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's too bad that more guys like you don't speak out on that. I go, also, it's fucking amazing that you came here on a raft. You hear stories like that, but I now know somebody that did it.
That legit happens.
Yeah.
Daily.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. That still happens.
I should take this gum out. Oh, I think you chewing it the whole time. So, grew up in Tampa. Mm-hmm. You had some Cuban cooking going on. I like Cuban food.
Lots of Cuban cooking. Lots of Sicilian style cooking. So I had a really cool mix of food, which is, I'm just shocked I'm not 500 pounds easily.
Did your family do dinners together all the time?
Oh yeah, we have a huge family. We had not even just our home cooked meals, which were fresh every night, especially if my dad was home. He did all the cooking. Mm-hmm. That's who I learned from, my dad.
Yeah.
My mom wasn't much of a cook, but she does like to bake. But huge family events all the time. Very important. My dad would do all the cooking for that too.
That's awesome.
Until, my grandparents did. And my grandmother passed away in a car accident.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When I was 9, I lost my grandmother and my great-grandmother in a horrific drunk driving accident.
Oh my God.
It was the worst thing.
How did that happen?
It was Memorial Weekend, and we were actually at the beach. We were actually on the East Coast up north in Vero. And we got a phone call one day. I guess the drunk driver went wrong side of the road, hit them head on. My grandfather was in the back seat because he's blind. He passed last year. Hit them head on. My great-grandmother died on the spot, and then they took my grandmother, and she passed. So my grandfather lost his wife and his mother in the same.
What a horrible tragedy.
It's pretty bad.
Was there lawsuits and people going to jail?
Yeah, we made sure of that. Anytime he was eligible for parole, we fought it to the very end.
How sad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It was really sad.
And you were 9 when that happened?
I was 9.
Damn.
I lost my grandmother when I was 9.
How'd your family take all that?
Well,
Italians and Cubans can be pretty dramatic.
We were all really close. So it was, heartbreaking, and I feel like it just changes the dynamic of your family in general. When you lose people who are so loving and keep everything together, and you want to do the same thing with your family over, and then certain times you feel like it's drifting apart, and you don't spend as much time with the family anymore, like it should be.
So when you
lose those people.
When you were 9 and that happened and the dynamic changed, how do you feel that your life changed after that?
I was so young. I feel like that wasn't. I was so busy with school, with cheerleading, with all my athletics, with schoolwork. I feel like it didn't change me as much, other than knowing that they're gone.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, and it makes me tear up, and of course I miss them. But I think when my great grandmother passed, which was her mother, I think that was probably one of the worst days of my life. So I feel like that was more impactful on how I am now.
Do you remember that day?
That my grandmother, which one?
You said it was the most impactful day.
Yeah, that was. I would visit her in the ICU almost daily. I could drive then.
Yep.
I was in my senior year of high school, so I could go visit her, And I just kind of knew, like, she was ready to go. Her husband was gone. Her daughter had passed in the car accident, grandmother. And you could tell she was just ready. And I knew that, but I didn't want that to happen, of course. So I remember she was kind of slipping away, and I was like, I want to say almost 10 minutes too late to say my final goodbyes. And I just broke down in front of the whole hospital, made a scene. It was probably one of the worst days of my life.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Those are really days that you can't put into words. And everybody I tell people to try to make light of the horrible, horrible situation, because so many people get caught up on I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. And that happened to me with my grandma, she was like my second mom. And my dad had told me the night before, he was like, hey, you should come up here as soon as possible. And I was like, I was just there. And he was like, no, you should come like tomorrow. And I was like, really? And so I went online and I got the very first flight that I could get out. And by the time I landed in LaGuardia and then got the car and then drove up there, it was like 7 o'clock at night. And I was like running into the hospital, and like right when I got there, everyone was like hugging and crying. And so same thing, I missed by like 15 minutes. And I handled that really bad.
Yeah.
Which, who's to say how anybody should handle a situation like that? You don't know until you're in it. But that situation, unfortunately for me, I was kind of getting my shit together at that point in my divorce. And when that happened, I left the hospital and I went to the strip club to meet my buddy, the local place in town back home in Danbury that we used to always go to. And I just started like drinking. And I hadn't drank in a while at that point. My heart was just so broken. And that was in November. And then I pretty much like spiraled out until January when I ended up in the hospital over that. That was like, when you're that close to, a parent or grandparent like that, it is like such a tragic loss.
It was the worst. And I feel like, and I could say this now, and like I still get upset about it because I have two amazing children, and I know that she would just be obsessed with them.
Yeah.
And I could just see her, with them, and I feel like that makes me more sad now than anything. But I know that I never had to say goodbye to her because she knew how much I loved her. Like.
And that was what I was going to say is
she knew.
I laid in there and I made everyone get out of the room, and I just laid on the bed next to my grandma and I just cried for a while.
Yeah.
And I felt so upset for so long that I didn't get to say goodbye. But my grandma really didn't like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And now I realize where I get it from. My grandma didn't want anybody fussing around. Like, she did not like it. So we actually didn't even know that she was as sick as she was because she wanted to just, like, go out her way, not everybody freaking out about her. So when I had gone up there a few weeks earlier, everything seemed cool. And that was another thing that bothered me for a long time, is that we didn't have a profound conversation. We talked about the fact that I'm allergic to bees and cockroaches. And she was like, I have an EpiPen at my house. You should go get it. And then the other thing we talked about, I've told this to a few people, but my grandma was very like polished and like put together well, and she was a very classy lady. And when I went to see her, I put one of my favorite suits on, and everybody else was kind of like schlubs in the hospital, but I went in with like one of my favorite suits, and she goes, "It's so nice that you're always clean shaved and in a nice suit. Why don't the boys these days shave anymore? They all have these ridiculous beards and they dress like slobs. Like, nobody has any respect for themselves anymore." And her saying that and appreciated it, I've kind of like, it's been important to me to carry that on. So when my beard starts getting a little bit out of hand, if I'm getting lazy with it, sometimes chicks will be like, "Oh, you look good with the scruff. You should leave it."
You can hear her in the background.
Yeah, and I think about that always, and that's why I'm compelled to shave my beard. So
Yeah, that's funny.
But without spending too much time on sad stuff,
Yep.
going into high school, so you're already cooking a lot. You were playing sports. You were cheerleading.
I was cheerleader. I made varsity my sophomore year only because they did not let freshmen on the varsity squad. So I had to do my dues and JV years.
Were you like all about it?
Oh man, I traveled with my traveling cheerleading team, and then I danced with my dance traveling team. I was up until like 9 p.m. just doing, athletics every single night. And then I would have homework. And then on the weekends, I would have practice or a competition or, my Friday night football games, basketball games, even though I dreaded the basketball games. I would trade people. If you cheer this basketball game, I will pick up the wrestling match. Like, I would rather watch and cheer on because all my friends were like wrestlers and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. So I can't get into the basketball. I don't know what it was.
But football is the most fun to cheer at,
Football
right?
is so much fun, especially if you understand the game.
Mm-hmm.
I even actually set up a small little, we called ourselves the Diamond Girls. I'm a big baseball aholic. So we, there was about 3 or 4 of us on the side. I worked with one of the teachers who was overseeing the baseball side of the school baseball team. And we called ourselves the Diamond Girls, and we would be like,
Diamond Dolls is the place down here.
Do you need water? The Batgirl. We would go over the speaker and announce, fun stuff.
Did in your school, did the cheerleaders date the football players?
Oh yeah.
Did you wear like their jerseys before like certain games and stuff?
So there was jerseys. I feel like in the early 2000s, all we were wearing back then were like our Sophie shorts, which were the soft, like little cotton shorts that we would roll over till your booty crack was like coming out the bottom.
Yep.
With no socks, or they were either pulled up to your knees. I couldn't remember what year was what. There was like one year where like, okay, ankle socks all the way, and no socks, and then there was like one year where no, you're not cool unless you wear all your socks up to your knees.
And the little white shoes.
Yes. Yeah. Asics all the way. Yep. Wear our little cheerleading shoes, and then we would always wear like our warm-ups with it. So our team was like really legit. Like nobody beat us in Tampa for our high school team.
Yeah.
So we typically didn't wear the boys stuff because we were so proud of we would have our own jerseys with our nicknames on the back. Mine was Ox, of course.
Ox.
Because I would tumble and I would like grunt and like make like noises, like powerful noises.
Were you strong?
I was really strong.
Were you working out with weights already?
I had just started working out with weights.
Did they encourage it or no?
No, I just enjoyed it. And then I was a base, so I was at the bottom. I was the one always lifting.
Yep.
It's just,
I imagined the Ox wasn't the one that was at the top of the
Fuck
pile.
no, I was definitely not. Even though I'm 5'2", I was pretty solid back in the day too.
So when you were back when you were Ox and you were
the Ox
at the base lifting these girls.
I have to go find this jersey now.
Did you have muscle yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of the movements are the same. If you picture your typical gymnast or your dancer, I mean, we were like those rolled into one. So, plus we have this almost like a sprint style performance because you're doing all this action within 2 to 3 minutes, or like a fighter, So everything is almost sprint work.
Hit.
So yeah. Hit. So lots of tumbling, lots of stunting, lots of yelling. It's the coolest shit to do.
Did you guys have pasta parties?
Yes.
Those are the best.
So before the game, we would have one cheerleader's house we would go to. And my house is, the best. 'Cause my dad would make this like feast, of course. we would do like a lasagna or and I don't know how we did it because we would just stuff our face.
Yeah.
And there's all these girls. There's like 25 girls in my house getting ready, trying to do, eyelashes everywhere and glitter because glitter was just life. And then, got this uniform over here hanging up, and it was just hilarious on how my house would look before a game.
And
then
the theory,
just food everywhere.
the
and we were
theory
just
behind it
pigs.
doesn't really make sense either.
It
That's
doesn't.
the funny thing.
I don't know how we looked the way we did and ate the way we did. It doesn't make any sense.
Anyone who doesn't know, so a pasta party is when the team gets together, and sometimes it's just cheerleaders and just football players. Sometimes it's everybody together, and usually it's the night before a game. You just eat a shitload of pasta, and then you go home and go to bed.
Oh no, we ate it right before.
Oh, you guys did it right before?
Right before. So right after school on Friday, we would go to whoever's house. So we'd have to be there by a certain time so we can get in. And then we'd have to go set up for the game. Make sure the banner's ready for the guys to run through. The works. And
you guys did it right before. We did it most of the time the day before. And it's like you just load up all those food, go to sleep, and then go and then play.
I don't know how the guys did it. I know we ate together sometimes in the cafeteria if it was a home game. But that was just a shit ton of food too. I don't know how the guys did it. And then we'd go play the night of the game.
Was your school a big school?
Yeah, we're very, very.
How many kids in your graduating class?
Ooh, I want to say we're in the middle of South Tampa. I want to say there was about maybe 700 or 800.
No, it's big. Yeah, so I went to a small high school. There was only not even 150 kids in our graduating class.
Oh, yeah, no.
It was like 130 or something
No,
like that.
we had a lot of people.
But we are right next to Danbury, where I grew up, which has like thousands.
Yeah.
But I went to a very small
Yeah,
town.
we weren't that big. It was great.
I think growing up in towns like that, playing sports, I feel those are like the best years. Like when people are like, "Oh, I hated high school," I'm like, "Man, high school was awesome. Football and cheerleading and pasta parties and freaking
I really had a good time in high school.
keg parties." Did you guys have keg parties?
We had every kind of party.
Did you have see, I like to talk to people that are from the city versus from the country like I was because the party styles are so different.
Yeah, 100%.
So we would have parties on like golf courses, in like the end of the woods, like
See,
stuff like
I was on
that.
the water.
Yeah.
So we had every week or even after school, hey, we're taking the boat out. If I skip practice or whatever, or if we had an off day, my friends we would take the boat out and go tubing on the bay.
Yeah, that's the best.
Or go to a deserted island and just hang out, and it was really fun. Or go to the beach. We had this place called the End, which is I grew up on Davis Islands, which is a small man-made island in Tampa, right near downtown. And we had this place called the End, which is like the end of the island, and there's like a beach there, and like very, very tip was a yacht club, and we would just all go there until the cops broke it up.
That's the good times, man. We had a place called Orange Pepper. All my New Fairfield friends will remember Orange Pepper, and it was just the end of this street where it was a new development that they just never developed anything. So it was just like kind of like empty houses that were started.
Oh, those are fun.
And we would just go out there. It was all muddy because the road wasn't done yet. And we would just get hammered and party out there. People would get stuck in the mud. And then eventually the cops would come, make everybody go home. But if there was nothing to do, it would get around real fast, like Orange Pepper. And that's where everybody would show up.
We had so many different parks. All like, we would have to change it. Oh, we're going to go here. Oh, the cops are coming.
Yeah, and then you switched.
Yeah.
We only had one gas station in my town too, so
That's
like
crazy.
everybody would just meet up at that gas station to try to figure shit out. It was the Mobile, right in the center of town. It was the good old days. Now, when you were done with high school, so you already into sports, you cheerleaded the whole time. Had you gotten into bodybuilding style training yet?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How old?
Actually, I started training more when I graduated, after I graduated.
What made that happen?
Well, getting into, nutrition, working at GNC really pushed
Oh, you
me.
worked at GNC also?
Oh, yeah. I think everybody has. I think everybody has.
So many people have worked at GNC. That was one of my first jobs.
I know. Going into just seeing like you it's almost an addiction. You see your body changing and you're like, oh, what if I keep pushing it? And what if I do this? And like, I'm going to do this buns of steel tape today, and see what happens. Which I probably need to find and keep
How
doing.
long did you work at GNC for?
I worked at GNC for about 5 years.
Oh my God, that's a long run.
I know. Well,
that's a long run.
I was in management and stuff. So.
How did you like?
I was corporate. It wasn't a franchise. It was a corporate run store, so it was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I worked at a corporate store too.
Yeah, it was. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about supplements. I learned a lot about nutrition. I met my first show prep coach there.
Oh. Were you the cute girl working at the GNC?
I was the cute girl working
So
at
boys
the
would come in
GNC.
and flirt with you?
Everybody would come in and buy their protein. Go see Alexis. She knows what she's talking about, I would just upsell. Oh,
Guy
you
Sister
gotta
Nino
take this.
had a long run at GNC.
Yeah? That makes sense.
He's famous in the GNC world, but we'll leave that story for another one.
Yeah, we would get the GNC magazines in and all the different types of print and the little cutout cardboard boxes and stuff like that. And that's when I really fell in love with the bodybuilding, because I got to see, like Aaron Stern.
Yeah.
And, Jay Cutler and like people that I still, look up to and, follow, obviously.
Who was the first person that like caught your eye when you were working back then that you were like, wow, I want to be like this person?
I'd probably say Aaron Stern.
Wow.
I really just loved her physique.
She had a hell of a physique. She fucked us over actually at one point, which is a shame.
I've heard.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
She fucked a lot of people over.
I was
think.
like, shit, this is gonna be.
No, I think she
like,
fucked a lot of
you
people
want me to be
over.
honest? Or?
She had a hell of a physique, and
Shit.
not only did she fuck me over as a company, but the reason that my ex-wife reached out to me for coaching was because Aaron Stern told her to reach out to me. So she really fucked me over.
Damn it, Aaron.
Damn it, Aaron Stern. She had a hell of a physique. So when
She was the one that caught my eye. I actually had pictures of her as like my motivation up.
So were you like, because there was 3 girls that were head and shoulders the best back then, and they were dramatically different, and they were postered everywhere. So you had the Aaron Stern group.
Yep.
You had the Nicole Wilkins Lee group.
Yep.
And then you had the Ava Cowan group.
Ava Cowan is equally, well, I can't say equally because Aaron Stern caught my eye, but she was absolutely phenomenal.
So I've said this a bunch of times, but so I coached Ava Cowan for the year that she got 4th place at the Arnold, right? And she would come into the office all the time, and she would pose, and she was very confident. She had no problem posing in front of everyone. And it was the year before the women's physique division started. And so they sent a message that year, basically like, hey, figure girls, we don't want you to be as big. If you want to be big, you can go over to the women's physique. So the last day that she posed before the Arnold, and this is a bold thing to say, she posed for us.
Freak condition.
I said, you have the most perfect physique I've ever seen.
That's amazing.
And she was very hard on herself. She was like, well, we'll see what they think. And I said, honestly, I couldn't be happier with how you look. And like all the guys would stand around and just be like, not even know what to say. And so they told her she was 4th. I thought she should have won, but they told her that she was too muscular. And it really like sent her in a rough direction. And I wanted her, I go, all you need to do is stay exactly like this. And I was right. And you will fucking be, excuse my language, you will be the women's physique division Miss Olympia. You will smoke everybody. And I believe that they would have really liked that. Because her physique then would have just destroyed Dana Lynn Bailey's. Not even close. But instead, people got inside her head. She started trying to get too big and then too soft. And then the whole thing wound up being a mess. But that moment, watching her pose of all the great physiques that I've ever seen, that was the most impressed I've been with a physique.
She has an amazing physique.
Yeah. She was a hell of a
Great
competitor.
conditioning.
But they change around what they want. I just had this in the podcast that I did that people will see before this one with Steph Mahoy. We talked about Bikini and how different it was. And it's interesting because she and I had completely different perspectives of what we thought was good in Bikini.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I go, do you think that you're swayed by the fact that you're friends with some of these people? And she smiled and she said yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with a subjective sport. There's so many things that could sway you. I don't like blonde hair. Oh, I love blonde hair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like big boobs. I don't like big boobs.
Yeah.
And we talked about this yesterday. Like if you're gonna be like that, you should not do this shit.
No.
It'll fucking make you crazy.
Yeah, you can't.
I've had so many girls that are like, I don't understand. This girl's soft. This girl's fat. This girl's jacked. This, that. And I'm like, honestly, you got to go in with the best version of yourself that makes you happy. And you can talk to the judges a little bit, but they're going to tell you different things all the time. You just got to be the best version of yourself and just go with it.
Yeah.
And if it's not in the cards for you, it's not in the cards for you.
Yeah.
Go and do CrossFit, where here's the rules, do this, boom, 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 boom. That's how you win.
Yep.
And I personally, I actually really didn't like that about bodybuilding. Although I loved the training and I loved the journey of getting there, the actual stage part I fucking hated.
Yeah.
And I often
You're
thought,
so good at it, though.
well, I often thought
Your
though,
presence, as your presentation.
thank you.
Fantastic.
But I often thought like guys would place ahead of me and I would literally just be like, that guy sucks. He's not better than me. And so if you believe that in your heart, then you get in, it makes things tricky.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, if I'm not being placed at the best in the world by the time I'm 30, then I'm going to put all my focus into my business, which is what I did. And that's why I was content leaving, because I knew I had done everything that I could do. With Bikini and figure, it's so dramatically different though, you know?
Yes.
I would say in figure, in my opinion, in figure, you have to have the ideal structure that they want.
I think figure is my favorite and would probably be, I feel like for judges might be one of the easier ones to judge.
Well, either you have it or you don't.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yep.
That's why figure has gotten way smaller.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of competitors, but either you got that structure or you don't.
Yeah.
You can't diet and pose around it.
No, you can't.
Bikini, you can diet and pose around. Bodybuilding, you can just be, if you got an ugly shape, you can just be way more shredded than everybody else.
Yep.
But in figure, you're going to stand there straight on.
Yep. And
You're going to stand there sideways, and they're going to stand
That's
from
it.
the back. And either you have it or you don't.
don't,
The
yeah.
girls that have it, they really, really stand out.
They do.
And you got to have just real small hips, broad shoulders, and it's just that look, you know. It's a very, very tough look to pull off.
It is.
And it's come a long way.
Gorgeous, though. It's like,
Yeah.
it's probably my favorite. I think it's just because I love shoulders so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love looking at their shoulders.
So when I was coaching my girls, I kept on getting told by judges, you're bringing them in too hard. You're bringing them in too hard, which is pissing me off.
What do they mean by that?
They were just
Why
too,
would they-
they were too conditioned. And so when the women's physique division opened up, the way that they described this division, I was like, this is the division for me. So all of the girls that I was coaching in figure, I got like 90% of them to go into that division. And in the next 2 years, it turned 18 girls pro in women's
cool.
physique.
Yeah.
Just destroyed that division. I
remember
was
you telling
very
me that
proud
you like physique.
of that division. Now physique has actually turned pretty much into bodybuilding. And so it has evolved to that. And so now with the changing and the evolving of these physiques, now you have the wellness division, which I'm very, very excited about because this is the way that I look at it. If you go through the history, there was bodybuilding. That was it. And then they started doing these fitness competitions. And the fitness competitions were, first of all, if you've never seen any of the old ones, like back in the day when they used to have the aerobics competitions, hilarious. So that turned into fitness, and you had these fitness girls that would do kind of like aerobics and dance, and it was cute and happy and sporty, and they had great physiques. But then you started getting these girls that were like, I just graduated and I was an Olympic gymnast and I need something to do. I'm going to go do these fitness routines. And then it got nuts. And so they had to tone it down because these girls were just coming and flipping all over the place and stuff. And a lot of girls couldn't compete with that anymore. So they started to tone it down. And they were like, you know what? Let's just take the girls with these bodies and let's just put them in their own division. So they don't have to worry about the routine. And that's how figure started.
Right.
And figure was way different back then with like Monica Brandt and Jenny Lynn. Those girls were to me, they were so hot.
Yeah.
I loved those girls growing up. But the figure girls back then were almost kind of like what Bikini turned into for a little while. They were just so much smaller. And it progressed and progressed and progressed. And then it got to the point where it was getting too big. Then they started the Bikini division. Now, Bikini's first year, hilarious.
Bikini's really evolved.
Oh, man.
Like
the first year,
crazy.
Bikini was just like Hawaiian Tropic, basically.
That's it.
Yeah. It was fun.
I kind of wish it would go.
It was awesome. When it first came out, people
I kind of
thought...
wish it would go back sometimes. Like,
people thought, like, they like, thought down on it. They're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is this? This isn't bodybuilding. But as soon as it came out, everyone loved it.
yeah.
Everyone loved it. All the
course.
bodybuilders loved it. It was cool.
yeah.
And they had flavor. And then Bikini started getting more muscular. And so they decided to tone that down. And then once they toned that down, they started to get all this confusion. And the wellness division, which was getting really, really popular outside of the United States,
Yeah.
they decided to bring the wellness division here. So the wellness division is cool because a lot of Bikini competitors, whether they are Latina or Italian, their bodies just want to hold that lower body muscle.
Yeah.
The Brazilians. And so these girls are just cardio, trying to get rid of that muscle so they can fit the criteria. And the wellness division, they were like, you know what? We're going to let you have that muscle.
Yeah.
Keep the upper body for the most part the same. You can get a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And so now these girls that were being told you're too muscular, you got to run. Now they're allowed to train their legs.
Yeah.
And I think for where the world is at right now, because we're in like the era of like the booty, like everybody wants a big
Wants
booty.
it. Everybody's on the. You have to wait in line at the booty blaster.
It's
at the
true.
gym, the
Every
booty
girl
builder.
does glutes like 4 times a week.
No, I don't.
I talk to girls. I'm like,
It's on my plan, but I can't.
no. Girls will be like, will you help me with my workout plan? And I'm like, sure, send it to me. And it's like Monday is glutes, hamstrings, and a little bit of quads. Tuesday is abs. Wednesday is quads, hamstrings, and glute touch-up. Then there's like an off day. Then it's like maybe a little bit of shoulders. And then it's like my main glute day where I just do like squats and like hip thrusts. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
I know.
I'm like, it's amazing that women can recover.
I was just with Casey, one of your athletes, with Casey Hill this week, and we've been incorporating a leg day, and then I'll push her on upper body day. So we kind of take our 2 strengths and kind of merge them into one, and we'll help each other train because my legs are just really, really weak because I didn't train them for 8 years. Like,
watch the video that we did together if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it was brutal. I lost a nail.
She lost a nail.
It's pretty bad.
That was it.
And then I was talking to Casey about it because she has a big booty and nice legs, but she's a bikini competitor, and I was talking about that, and she said that she has to do a lot of like sprint work and a lot of like running to keep her legs down, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that she almost overdid it personally last
Yeah.
year, and I gave her some good advice over what to do for this next season, just getting there.
Yeah, I remember her telling me that,
paying
but
her
it was
dues.
just crazy. Like, why would you want to keep them
I
down?
know.
She's like, well, I want to stay in the bikini division. I was like, damn, your legs look so amazing. But she's got to keep them down because she's got to do bikini. So
To me, I think you got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's what I tell the girls all the time. I had this.
no, she's happy with bikini.
I had this conversation with Frida, and I wasn't going to push her in any direction. But she had not worked out with weights for a year.
Yeah.
And I said, aren't you bored? And she was like, yeah, but I'm just trying to, like give them what they want. And I was like, well, what if you do all this and they tell you you're still too big?
Yeah.
Then you just missed a whole year of
Whole
working
year.
out, changed your body away from how you liked it, to then still not comply. I mean, that's going to be a rough one.
Yep.
And so I was super happy that she decided to go to to wellness. And training with weights, oh my God, her legs just absolutely exploded.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna actually, I haven't posted it yet. I'm gonna post this video. It's gonna blow people's minds with what her legs look like now.
Her legs are amazing.
It's awesome to see. Like, I hate to see somebody hold themselves back,
Right.
you know, just to try to comply to a division when there's these other divisions.
Yeah.
So you liked figure, which means you like training, you like muscle. Mm-hmm. And were you eating like a bodybuilder?
No.
How are you eating?
Nutrition was where I struggled the most, obviously. Going from eating pretty much whatever I could or when I could from being a busy high schooler or busy in college, work. I didn't really know how I should be eating. So I started learning a little bit more about what I should be eating and how that played a drastic role.
How did you learn?
How it, myself, just reading up on things, reading into articles, you know, researching diets. What should I do to do this? But everybody's so different. I feel that you can't just follow one single plan. Mm-hmm. I know that I starved myself to be a bikini competitor.
So many people do that.
It was really bad, actually.
Did you have a coach?
I did, but at that point we were just trying to lose as much body fat as we could in, 12 to 16 weeks that I had.
And when you did this bikini show, how old were you?
I was 24.
So you were
25.
training for a few years, and what made you decide you wanted to do the show?
Everybody was telling me to do a show.
But if you liked,
they would come into GNC and they would see that I had potential, and then I had a couple people be like, "You need to go do a show."
But if you liked the figure look so much, what made you go towards bikini?
I did not have enough muscle, and I let my coaches pick my division instead of waiting to choose a show. I rushed into one. So I felt like if I could have easily taken 2 years to grow some more and train correctly and eat correctly, I think that would have been easier, because this was pre-injury, so I could have easily trained really hard.
Now, what was your starting weight, and what was your weight for the competition?
My starting weight was probably in the 140s, which is funny because I'm 140 pounds right now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but you're all muscle now.
I know, but it's still crazy. I was not then. So I want to say I went down to like 121.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you did the show,
I was just sunken in.
Did
Super
you have
flat.
did you have somebody helping you with posing and all that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Posing was actually really fun for me. Now it's like awkward because I don't really know what to do, but it was different for bikini back then. You kind of just pranced around a little bit.
Did you feel confident up there?
Oh yeah.
And how many girls were in your class?
There were, well, that was when they did short or tall.
Okay.
That's how old I am.
That's old school.
Short and tall. I was in short class, obviously. I want to say there was like 8 of us. Maybe. It was very, very, very small show. So yeah.
Did you place?
I got 5th.
How did you feel about that?
I felt okay.
Just okay?
I was like one of the bigger girls.
You were one of the bigger girls.
Yeah.
Did
I could
you
totally tell. I was like,
when you saw the competition, were you like, all right, I need to change some things around for sure?
oh yeah.
I'm gonna keep
The
doing
minute
this?
I showed up, I was like, I wanted to throw up.
Yeah.
I was also very hungry. But
This is
I was like, I can't. I was like, and then I was in my head, of course, asking people, you're asking people how you look, and you're like, oh, how do I look? And they're like, oh, don't worry, this and that.
This is why coaches, if you're a good coach, if you care about what you do, don't let somebody compete just for the sake of competing.
Yeah.
Don't do it. If somebody needs 2 years, tell them, look, you need 2 years. If somebody wants to compete in a year and it is possibly doable, get on a plan to get them there, but don't blow smoke up their ass and say, hey, I'm going to have you do the show just so they can do a show and then go out there and not saying that they're going to go out there and get their ass beat, but you want it to be a positive experience.
I lost confidence the minute I saw who I was up against.
Because the shows are always going to be there.
Yeah.
There's nobody putting a gun to your head that's like, you better do this show now, otherwise you're going to miss out.
No.
There's tons of shows.
Yeah.
So you should feel confident, like, I can't wait to go out there. That's the mindset that you should have. And if you sign up with a coach, it's very important. For coaches and for people listening, if you reach out to somebody that's telling you when you should compete, unless you're specifically asking them, that's not a good coach.
That's what I was about to say. I think it was partly on me because I just went through a shitty divorce.
Okay.
Because this is my second marriage. And I was just like drilling the gym.
Yep.
And I was like
coping with the gym.
Like, that's all I did. That's all I wanted to do. And I was living and breathing that, and that's all I wanted was to compete because I had such negative feedback from my ex-husband at the time.
How old were you when you got married?
I want to say the same age, like 24. I was super young.
And
I competed a year later while I was getting a divorce.
So you were not married long?
No.
How long were you married for?
18 months.
18 months.
That's the 18.
It's like mine, basically.
No.
My divorce was longer than my marriage. Ridiculous.
My divorce was pretty quick. But it was stupid. I shouldn't have gotten married anyways. It was kind of, you just kind of, when you're with somebody for so long, you just feel like you're supposed to do that. That's like the next thing.
Oh, you guys were together for a long time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Not like super long, but, 3 to 4 years. Were you like pressuring him or? Oh, I pressured the shit out of him.
And then he was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. We bought a Corvette. And I said, I'm not fucking buying this Corvette with you if we're not married. He's like, all right, let's get married.
Oh, that was it, huh? Romantic.
Boom.
At least you got a Corvette.
Got a ring. And I got the Corvette in the divorce.
Where's that Corvette now?
I totaled it.
Oh, no. Another totaled Corvette.
It was pretty bad. Yeah. It's gone.
No drunk driving, though, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
Hell no.
That's one thing that from what we talked about earlier. I refuse to drink and drive, and I don't like people who do.
Yeah, it's too easy to get a ride nowadays.
It's so easy.
I will admit, when I was young, in my young years,
everybody can admit to that.
I was drinking and driving for sure.
I forgive you.
Definitely had some situations where I woke up last minute as I was like drilling a mailbox and been like, Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you, dude? But that's like your dumb, high school, college stuff.
Yeah.
So you had a divorce, you did a show, and then when did you meet you're married now, currently, so when did you meet your husband?
So this is actually a really good story. I met him before my first husband.
Okay.
He was a bouncer at a nightclub.
Those bouncers, they always got the hookup.
Bouncers. He got me in the VIP.
Was he jacked?
He's jacked.
When you first saw him, because you were into working out.
And he was a foreigner, which made it even hotter.
So he was a jacked foreigner.
With earrings.
Oh, earrings too?
And the frosted tips.
So, hold on. What year was this in?
This was in 2003.
Wow, this is a great time.
I know.
Of the world, by the way. I feel so sorry for these kids now.
I really do. I had the best time. 2003 through 2006 were amazing.
So, I always tell people, so I graduated high school the class of 99, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like the 90s were the fucking best. Mm-hmm. And that was really the end of people that weren't huge pussies. Mm-hmm. And so as we went into the 2000s, I started noticing some things changing in the high school level. Mm-hmm. Just with like my sisters and my little brother, things started getting a little bit more strict, changing a little bit. You couldn't say this, you couldn't do that. So being 18 to 30 in the first, 2000 to 2010, that was a great, great time.
So much fun.
So much fun. And then when 9/11 happened, the world dramatically changed.
Yeah.
Dramatically
So
changed.
this was just after 9/11 because 2003 is actually when I graduated. So I was fresh out of high school, 18 years old. My dad wanted to kick my ass because I wanted to work in Ybor City. And that's where all the clubs are. It's
Yeah.
a big strip on 7th Avenue, and it's just nightclub after nightclub. And that's where everybody went. You know, Thursday night was college night. Friday night was ladies' night. Saturday night was just...
Is that the street where all the strip clubs are?
No.
You know what I'm
Dale
talking
Mabry.
about?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dale Mabry has all the strip clubs. And that's like strip club after.
There's the one that I always
The
go to.
spaceship.
Yeah, the spaceship one.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine that it's probably
2001
like
Odyssey.
not nice in there though.
It's supposed to be pretty nice.
Really?
It's supposed to be pretty nice.
I don't know. I always just imagine like whenever I see it, I'm like that's got to be the grungy
That's
one.
like the extra VIP.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I was wrong all this time.
Yeah.
I have to check the Space Odyssey.
And
out.
we have a dollhouse too. That's on another street behind, and then we have the penthouse too,
Yeah.
which is they're next to each other. There's penthouse and then dollhouse.
Yeah, there's a bunch all on that one.
Tons. Tampa is literally tons of strip clubs.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
They're like, let's all
It's
just go to
always been
Tampa.
like that. I don't know. I don't know why. But yeah, so I worked at that nightclub. I was actually promoter, so I was outside getting people to come in and walking people into the door.
Oh.
And then I got promoted to a beer tub girl, which was super fun because I could go inside and I actually be with the music, which is what I loved because I love to dance. You know, they got freaking Benny Benassi pumping in the background,
Yeah.
and I'm serving out, you know, your Coronas, your Heinekens, and your Bud Lights.
So
whatever
when
you
he
needed.
was security, where was he stationed?
So I was like the back beer tub, and then he worked with the VIP.
That's the spot you want to be.
Yeah. He did not give me the time of day.
Wow. Did he ever tell you why?
Because I was a good girl.
He only wanted the sluts.
Yeah, he was 21.
Hell yeah. Who wants a good girl?
Nobody wants me.
That's boring.
Fucking boring.
You want the easy one.
Exactly. He's like 21, you know, with his frosted tips and,
Yeah.
you know, his broken English accent, you know, which he doesn't have now. But, yeah, we met there. And then I quit. He went to another. He got fired from there for sneaking somebody underage bands.
Used to do it too. It happens.
He got fired one night and walked across the street to the next club, and they hired him at that club.
What was it? A girl that he gave the underage man?
Oh, I'm
to?
sure.
Yeah. So what we used to do is 18 to party, 21 to drink.
Yeah,
And
same.
what I used to do, this was the most ultimate pimp line. And if you guys work in the clubs, I'm sure you know somebody that does something similar, but it was foolproof. In the beginning of the night, when they were doing the wristbands, I would take 10. 21 bands, and when everybody was waiting out in the line outside, all the 18, 19-year-olds that couldn't drink, I would walk through the line and I would look for the prettiest ones. And I would also make sure they were slutty, pretty and slutty. So if you were slutty but not the prettiest, then you'd still have a good shot.
Good
And I would give them a bracelet secretly. I was like, come here for a minute. And they would come over and I'd be like, here's a bracelet. Make sure you come see me and thank me at the end of the night. And they'd be like, okay. So they had a great night because they were able to drink
And they were
because of me.
excited because the bouncer is talking to them.
I got them in, so they would come drunk at the end of the night. And I would be
genius.
like, do you want to stay after hours with me?
Of course.
And that's where shit got crazy.
Of course. That's what happened. So he didn't want me. I went on my way to GNC. God knows where.
So you went from beer tub girl to GNC. How about that?
No, I think I had like some type of adult. No, we forgot the most important job I've ever had. Hooters.
Oh, Hooters, yes.
I worked at Hooters for a while. That's where I met my first husband.
Just like Anna Maria, who was here earlier, worked at Hooters.
Hooters. I worked there for a while, and then we kind of parted ways. I met my first husband at Hooters. He was a fireman, like my dad,
Did he give you a good tip?
always.
Yeah.
I had a group of firefighters that would always come sit, because they all knew my dad.
Yeah.
So they would just come in and sit with Urso's, girl.
What was your favorite food at Hooters?
The buffalo shrimp.
Yeah. That's some
They're
pretty good
so
food there.
good. They also made, and I'm ashamed to say this, it's like old school. They probably don't even have it on their menu. They had the best ham sandwich. It was ham on pressed toast with the cheese.
Yes, it was like pressed down. It was very good.
So
and they gave you that dip
delicious.
shit too to put
Yes.
it in. Yeah.
So we would go in early, and you can have the cooks make whatever you want. And I would probably get those. I would get the shrimp or the sandwich. But yeah, met my first husband there.
So first husband at Hooters.
Yeah.
Second husband you met at the club, but you guys
When I
didn't
was
start
18,
dating.
we didn't start dating. Always kind of stayed on each other's mind, which is weird because we had I'm surprised we never ran into each other before. I actually got separated from my husband, and within like the second week, like the third or fourth week, because I remember it was like Thanksgiving time, and everybody was asking where my husband was, and I haven't told my family. I went out that night and got lit, like really bad, and literally opened the doors to this club on Kennedy Boulevard, which is close to downtown in Tampa, and he's coming at me the door, and I was like, Dolly? And he's like, Alexis? Oh my God. And then we just like the whole night, we're just on each other like white on rice.
And how old were you?
I was 26.
Okay.
27.
And then how long did it go from there before you guys got married?
Got married when I was 29.
Were you guys, right from the start, did you know, like, I'm going to wind up marrying this guy?
Yeah, because I didn't date anybody else after my first marriage. It was weird. Normally you go on a rampage.
Yeah.
You just want to date as many people as you can. But my family was like hesitant. They didn't actually meet him they refused to bring him in for a while, and I understand they needed their space. I'd just gotten divorced. My parents spent $30,000 on the first wedding. Huge wedding.
Yeah.
They really did a fantastic job with the wedding.
Yeah,
So I
man,
understand.
weddings can freaking blow you out, man.
Yeah.
My wedding cost me friggin' $80,000.
Yep.
Because my ex-wife wanted to be so extravagant.
Yep.
And I wanted to give her everything that she wanted.
This wedding, I wanted to go to Vegas, but he had never been married before, and that would kill his family. I couldn't do that.
Yep.
So this one we paid for ourselves, and my parents picked up the bar tab, which was cool.
That's cool, yeah.
They didn't have to do that, but everything else I really budgeted for, and that was actually the wedding that I planned. But it was great, and we got married in Ybor City, 2 buildings down from where we met.
Wow.
Yeah, and so now we go there all the time, and we got married at the Italian club because I got a discount. And like I said, we really budgeted it out really well.
Oh, that's good, but that's a nice story now.
It's a really funny story. People and I'm like, now he's obsessed with me, and he didn't want anything to do with me when I was 18, but now he's obsessed, and we have
Still obsessed.
two beautiful kids.
When did the kids come?
I got pregnant with Viviana, my daughter, when I was 30. So that was 20. She was born in 2015, and then I had my son Maxim in 2018 in August.
So you had 2 little kitties.
Yeah.
And you started a meal prep company.
I did.
How the hell did that happen?
I was sick of teaching little shit kindergartners, and I said, there's got to be something better to this. And I had just started losing my weight from my daughter.
How much weight did you gain?
I was 187 pounds.
Wow.
On the delivery bed.
It's a big one.
I'm 5'2", so.
Yeah. No, my mom did that with she was almost 200 pounds with, I think, my little sister Tony.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she gained like 80 pounds.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I only gained, that's what's so crazy about it. I only gained like 40 pounds, 45 pounds with my daughter. After my wedding, I was shredded for my wedding. Shredded. But I moved to Houston, and I didn't like it there.
I hate Houston.
It was a long way from my family. And I couldn't get comfortable there. But he's an electrical engineer, so he was working in the oil industry for a while, and that's where everybody is if you're in the oil industry. He worked for Baker Hughes, so we had to move everything. Literally 2 days after our wedding, we moved to Houston. We packed up our shit. We spent like 4 days in New Orleans, party it up, honeymoon, Houston. And I was just not happy there. We were trying to have a kid, and I gained like a monstrosity of weight before I got pregnant. like peach margaritas every day and cigarettes.
But so you gained all this weight.
Yeah.
But still, how did the entrepreneurship of doing this happen?
So I gained a shit ton of weight, had my daughter. Was kind of tired of teaching, but at the same time had started this little meal prep game with me and my husband, seeing, really awesome results, just tracking our macros and eating similar foods to what we like, having the chicken, and your pasta still and your rice and the potatoes, just portioning it out based on what you need. And then I found a way to kind of track it. And, we made an Excel sheet that made it easier to track and to plan out. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went meal prep shopping, and I really couldn't find anything that was personalized. Like, they just send you a generic plate of food saying, oh, you want to lose weight? Well, here, eat this. But I was like, okay, yeah, I want to lose weight, but, I'm starving, and I'm still training. I still want to look, I want my muscle, and I want to do this, so I need to eat certain. I can't just not eat carbs. So we played around with that. I tried a bunch of different meal prep services, and then me and my godmother, even my best friend, she's like, why don't you start your own company? And I was like, okay. So I was like, let's see. And I came up with a name almost immediately, Made2Macro, immediately. I don't know why.
Sometimes when you have it in your gut like that, you got to just go with it right away.
I don't know what I was just Made2Macro. Simple, easy, to the point. It's like, it makes sense. Called up my friend Ivan, and I said I need a badass logo designed. This is what the company is about. This is the name. Do something. Maybe like a chef with a knife and a fork with some muscles or something. And this was one of the three. I said, that's it right there.
Do you have the other ones?
I do, in an email.
I would like to see them.
Yeah, for sure.
So what year was this?
2017.
2017.
It was in the summer. I was actually about to switch from teaching kindergarten to co-teaching in second grade. And I was just like...
How long were you teaching for?
I taught for 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
Did you miss that at all?
Yeah, the kids are really cute.
Yeah.
Some of them just need to be loved.
The little youngsters?
Yeah. But I have my kids at home, too.
Yeah.
I could teach them, My daughter's about to be in kindergarten this year.
I always am fond of teachers that teach young kids.
Yeah.
It's like a certain personality.
Yeah.
That very motherly.
Yeah. I went into teaching and I said I would absolutely not teach kindergarten. And then my final internship through the University of South Florida, they're like, if you want this school, you got to teach kindergarten. I was like, okay. 5th grade was like the older kids, because I'm like a drill sergeant in my classroom. But man, what a cool experience that was to teach kindergarten. And then it was cool working with the teacher, because I could use a lot of her curriculum that she already had, so it kind of made the transition really easy. But I just fell in love with that grade and how cute it is. Like, kindergarten teachers are now responsible for teaching your kids how to read.
Wow.
Most people don't really realize that. They think, oh, 1st or 2nd grade. No, like, you're learning how to read in kindergarten now. So I'm looking forward to that this year with my daughter. But yeah, I just couldn't. The school I taught in was very different. I taught in the projects in Tampa. Which I've always kind of taught in, they call them Title I schools or Renaissance schools, which are low or poverty areas, which I always love, because the kids just come in and they want to learn, and they're eager. They might not have a lot going on at home, or they might not have all their parents around, and they just really make it's such a special opportunity and special relationship to have, because you're really like a parent to them. You're like another parent. And then there's some sad situations.
I'm sure,
too.
yeah.
It's really, and that's, I couldn't anymore. I would come home and like hold my daughter and be like, it's really, really fucking sad.
A lot of kids don't have that.
They don't.
They don't have anybody to give them a hug when they go home.
They don't have anybody to hug when they get home. So that summer, I threw all my, eggs in the basket. I said, let's do this thing. and I had full support from Dolly, from my husband. And I did my first promo in July at a small U-Fit in South Tampa, and I got 3 clients my first week, and then I'm like, what do I do now? I was like, I guess I got to cook these people food. So I put their names in the system. I called them. We worked out a plan, and they were with me for a long time. And I went from 3 clients my first week, and then got a little bit more. I was doing, 30 meals a week out of my kitchen in my house, which I had just remodeled. And then I tore it up because I was cooking, for a year out of my house. Then I went from, 100 meals a week to, a little bit more. And then I got pregnant with my son. And that was very, very difficult because I'm doing deliveries on Saturday morning.
You yourself are delivering?
Me. Wow. Yeah, I would cook it. I would prep it for you. And then, we would deliver it.
How many different stops were you going to?
Oh, man, I would have people north of me. I would have, all the way in a different county next to me because I service Pinellas.
How far driving were you?
Oh, my God. I would say about, Wesley Chapel's the farthest north, so I would say about 45 minutes. I would probably drive for a good 4 to 5 hours with my daughter in the car.
Just loaded up with meals. Just
loaded up with meals and a baby in my, just driving around. So, then we had Maxim, and I said, I'm not cooking out of my home anymore. I had a meltdown. And I said, if I want to grow this thing, I really need to get my own shared space.
What made you have the meltdown?
I'm in my small house with 2 kids, and I'm trying to cook out of it.
Did you just throw all the food down?
I literally just crying, swollen.
Snots.
Everything. Hysterical.
Swearing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. But we looked around. We found a really cool spot, and we have a shared space that we use now, and we get all of our meals done there. We're outgrowing that. I'm currently.
So how long have you been there for?
I've been there for 2 years.
But now you're outgrowing that.
I'm outgrowing that.
So the space that you have now. Let's do a little virtual tour of the space right now.
Yeah.
So how is it set up?
So you walk into the kitchen, and we have some prep tables, and then we have our hot side here with our fans. So we'll have our convection ovens with another prep spot, and you have your flat top grill, or the griddle, and then you have your char broiler, which is your grill, and then you have your stove top with the 6 burners, some sinks in the back, and then I have fridges along the side of the other wall. And that's how I separate my my athletes that have specific meal plans versus my clients who are on my just general menu who are just following macros.
Yep.
And then I have my local clients in another fridge who get Saturday morning just knock on your door, here's your food, because they're in the Tampa area. So I'm spread out all over the kitchen. I have more freezers and fridge space in the back, and then a big dish pit in the back.
Do you have one specific thing that you yourself do every day?
I am the man with, who knows everything ins and out of the kitchen. So I do what is needed to get done. And that's my function. If I need to make the potatoes that day, I'm making potatoes. If the dishes are piling up and I know that my staff will run smoother, I'll clean some dishes. Like I'm still not, but I'm very hands-on in the kitchen. The meats I really like to make sure are on point, and the recipes, making sure the presence of the bowls. That's my biggest thing is like, how do I want it to look in the bowl? That's something like I'll model for them to make sure they understand like this is how I want it. I want the pasta on the bottom, and then you could do the veggies over here with the chicken on top, and then the sauce. Making sure the scales are working properly and they're on kilograms and not pounds, because that's happened a couple times, which is horrific, especially when you're weighing everything out and you're looking at the food. I'm like, there's nothing there. Oh, it's on pounds. So that's my biggest job when I get to the kitchen, is just making sure everybody's working in the best way possible. you know, getting the meals popped out as quick as we can because
How many
our
people are
process
there?
takes a lot longer. So I have 3 people portioning, and then I'm handling most of my competitors. So, you know, any of my like IFBB pros, any of my NPC competitors that have to make sure like their meals are, you know, no oil on
Yep.
this chicken because I have to measure it.
Mhm.
You know, this guy only gets a half a cup of rice. You know, this one can only be, his meal 4 can only be asparagus.
Yep.
You know, just making sure those little details are covered. I still oversee that, and I have another person that helps me with that, that I trust. What else?
Is there anyone else doing this now? Because
We have-
there was no one doing this. That was what really made you guys stand out.
I have not seen anybody on my scale doing this because it's hard.
It's very
and it
hard.
takes a long time.
it's
That's
very
why
hard.
I don't have as many clients as like all these big companies are all about the volume.
Yeah.
How many meals they can pop out at once.
Yep.
You know, they're standing there with their little, you know, their ice cream scoop, giving everybody the same portion. Whereas, you know, we're doing by the pound if you need by the pound. We're doing fish if you need the fish.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you need 8 ounces of it? Cool. And we have to weigh every single meal out. So every single person is on that scale.
Yep.
And that next meal coming is not the same. So I haven't seen anybody doing it. It would, because it's really hard. And
It is.
my program that I have built is really cool. And that's how I want to scale it. And I think that's where we're going with this.
Absolutely, because I can tell you I've eaten a lot of the different companies' food. Some is good, some is not good, and it's all forced out, repetitive, and
Yeah.
so I can understand why that would make sense for the general population. But if you are going to try to attack this fitness market, the
Yes.
people that are very particular with food,
Right.
doing it the way that you're doing it is so efficient for people that are doing this that I actually can't believe that you can do it as inexpensive as you do it. And I don't see why anybody would not want.
Yeah.
It saves you so much time, it saves you shopping, and the guesswork is done for
guesswork,
you.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't need to measure things anymore because I know what everything looks like at this point anyway.
Yeah.
But I know about what I want. And so the fact that I don't have to go buy it, cut it, weigh it, cook it, put it all together, that I can just open it up. And most of the time, even though it does taste better, like Guy Citronino likes to have his in a skillet, the fact that I can just microwave it for a couple minutes and eat my meal and it tastes really good, and that's how much freaking time it took me.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you have your meals are pretty, I mean, now they're pretty plain.
yeah.
You know, we have the fancier stuff for people who are
course.
just looking for the flavor.
And the fancy stuff is great.
But, you know, most of my athletes, they're going to eat what their coach tells them to
Yeah.
eat. And I think that's where a lot of miscommunication can be. Like, people don't realize, like, you don't have to just pick from my menu. Like,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of
like you say.
mistakes that are made through coaches too, but you can work through all that with them.
Correct.
And you'll work with the coach,
I will work with the coach.
which is amazing.
I prefer to work with your coach. That means there's 2 people worried about what you're doing
Yeah.
and holding you accountable, you know, and then you're not like, oh, I guess I should eat this today. I don't know. Maybe my macros should be this. No, this is what your coach told you to eat.
Yeah. And then if you're preparing for a show and you want to leave no stone unturned in your preparation, this is the way to do it. Your coach is going to be controlling what you're eating.
Right.
So the coach tells you, this is what this person eats this week. Boom.
Yep.
There you go. Can't fuck it up. This is meal 1. This is meal 2. There
And
you
it's
go.
literally labeled meal
Yeah.
2, meal 4, whatever you need.
I mean, it's on one hand, it seems so simple, but it's fucking genius because no one else has done this.
Yeah.
And I know every bodybuilder I know that's doing it on their own because I did it for years. You know, you follow the sale to where you can get the best price on the chicken. Then you figure out what kind of like red meat you want. Then you go to where you're going to get your fish. And a lot of times it's in a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
You probably go to Costco for a bunch of your stuff.
I mean, definitely can't go to Publix.
Yeah, and then you have probably most people have 2 days where you do like just bulk cooking, right? And I used to have a system where I was like, I had my grill on my little patio, and I grilled as much chicken as I could at once. So I would have like friggin' 20 chicken breasts out there grilling. And then I had my foreman with like a piece of London broil, which is not steak that I really would have wanted to eat, but it's inexpensive.
It's cheap as shit.
So I would find the London broil if it was on sale for like $2.99 a pound, grab like a 3-pound piece. I'm like, well, I get 8 ounces of this. I'll just cook this all out, slice it up then, boom, there's my steak. And, you know, if I was doing something with eggs, whatever, but my fish, I would put all my fish on cookie sheets and just broil it, right?
Yeah.
So I'd have all this going on at once, major cooking days, and then I just load it up in the Tupperwares, and that's a freaking process.
Yeah.
So to not have that process anymore, some people enjoy that.
Some people enjoy it, and some people don't mind. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about your goals.
Yes.
Like, you need to eat the food regardless.
But if you actually have a, not even full-time job, just a job that cuts into the time to do that, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. It's very well worth, even if it's slightly above your budget, just budgeting that, because all the time and the headache being out of it.
Yeah, and you don't have to, you know, be on board for forever. Like I said, I've had clients with me who have been with me since day one. Like, they still order from me every single week, which is really cool. And then I have people who, you know, just want to try me out, and they maybe not like my food. They, you know, at the end of the day, you're eating leftovers.
Yeah.
So, you know, we try to make it, you know, taste as best as possible, as fresh as possible. But yeah, you know, we have people that will lose, you know, in a week or two, but, you know, most of our clients stay on board for a really long time, and it's because, you know, we take the guesswork out of it. And the fact that you could go on and use our macro calculator. If you don't know your macros, it's built into our website, and then you have me in your corner to, you know, kind of help, you know, answer any questions about what you should or should be eating. But that circles back to making sure you have a coach, because me and those people stay on board a lot longer.
Yeah. Because
I'm losing the people who don't know what they're doing after, because they want that instant gratification.
And
I guarantee you, I'm like, oh, no, I guess I should be eating this. And I definitely want low carb because I have to lose weight. And the minute they say that, I'm just like, you don't know what you're doing, and you're not working with a coach. Someone put you in this pile.
How many, what percentage do you think is competitors versus lifestyle people?
Right now, I have about, I would probably say competitors, I would probably say about 40%.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I think that's where my business is heading, to be honest with you. We were just talking about this the other day. Because it's so accurately measured, and like that's what they're looking for, and that they know they can open their bowl and be like, okay, this is what I'm getting, and they could take it and measure it, you know, and make sure they're getting what they need.
Yep.
But they know that they need to eat this food to get to this result, because this is what their coach wants of them. I feel like the other meal prep services that are doing those, you know, the ice cream scoop, one size fits all, I feel like people who, like, you know, the regular average Joe might be better off using a company like that, because, you know, if you're worried about like that absolute gourmet, you know, with all the sauce and the cheeses and like all that stuff, which is, I love cheese, it's delicious, but it's not going to help me get to XYZ goal, you know? That might be a better option if you just want to look good in the bikini this summer, you know? Some people have a different goal. They're trying to get stage ready.
Yeah, but do you think that because fitness has become so popular, there's also more education out there?
Yes.
Most people should be doing this anyway.
100%. Yes. I totally agree with that.
It just requires education to make people understand that.
But people don't want to take the time to learn it and understand it.
Are you educating them?
I'm trying the best that I can. But that's another reason why I like working or referring coaches.
Yeah.
We work hand in hand. You know, it's going to cost more money, but, you know, you're going to get your food, and you're going to get your advice, you're going to get your education all in one package, one in place. It's a no-brainer.
Do you have people that are asking you questions on how they should change their meals around if they don't have a coach?
Yes.
And then
I'm the go-to for that, because I am nutrition certified. I am nutrition coach.
And that's a lot of extra work.
It's a lot of extra work for me that I'm not charging for.
Yeah, you need to.
And I get taken advantage of. So
yeah,
it takes me a while.
I would like to see you change that.
Yeah.
From a business perspective.
Yeah.
You're putting out too much of a service now.
I agree.
And it's taking up too much time.
I agree. And it's very frustrating for me when I spend time on your meal plan and then you cancel a week later because you just want to try it out.
Yeah.
They don't understand, like, I took however long to plan your meals out for the week because they're personalized for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. And that takes me back to my old days of coaching where I had a rule from the start that back then I was in a position where it was no big deal for me to make somebody pay up front. And if they didn't, I just wouldn't send them anything. I wasn't desperate for money in that regard. So if anybody wanted to work with me, I knew in the beginning I'm going to be designing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to design all this stuff for then a week later to be like, oh, I don't want to do this now.
Yeah.
After I just did all that work. So you had to pay, if you worked with me for 12 weeks, you paid for 12 weeks up front.
Yeah.
And that was the way that I protected myself. So I could see it'd be very frustrating taking the time to teach somebody about everything that they're going to eat, and then after a week they're like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Right. Or they don't stick to it. I'm like, you order 10 meals a week, but you have 8 in your freezer. How does that even happen? But they do it. I was like, you're paying for this food, and it's just so easy now to go Uber Eats. I want Taco Bell.
Yep.
And it's there in 30.
Yeah. No, we do.
30 minutes.
What do we do? DoorDash.
Yeah. It's so easy.
Yeah, it is easy. But at least all the healthy restaurants are on there too.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat.
You don't have to eat shit. You don't have to eat shit. But if you're going to order from me and I'm going to take time to help you and you're taking time to answer all these questions that I need to know to even plan for you, why are you not just eating your food?
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer to me, but that's what makes it's like either they are too tempted by other foods, they're going out and about too much, probably getting crunk. And, ordering that pizza at 3 a.m.
If you are taking the time to do Uber Eats or even go out and eat more than once a week, you are such a perfect candidate for Made2Macro, because I've talked to my buddies that they have sat down and budgeted what they're eating, and it's crazy. One of the craziest ones was freaking Sammy, who used to work here. He broke down like what they eat on the weekends. And he was like, man, I never realized it was so high. Yeah. And I was like, dude.
You can't even check out from Uber Eats without spending at least $16. And now they have a small order fee.
Yeah.
That's like an extra $2. So if you want, like, I don't know, a Moe's burrito, after the time you check out, it's $16.
Yeah, it's crazy.
$16 burrito.
If somebody's local in Tampa, which like the easiest transportation. Yeah. What is an average meal for you gonna come?
Oh, like not even $9.
Freaking not even $10, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like mind blowing.
Yeah, and it could be whatever size you need it.
And go to any restaurant and find a dinner for $10.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 at some of the cheaper places, but how good is it gonna be?
It's crazy. And like I said, even people who just want to have a healthier, balanced option, not even like goal specific, our general menu is really good. I take a lot of time to plan out. Some meals are amazing. Some people some menu items I won't ever put on again because I hated them, or I got feedback from somebody saying they sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm open to that feedback, but if they leave without me knowing that feedback, then I'll never know. So, but I'm really good about getting feedback and putting that into my menu or suggestions.
Is getting the proteins the hardest part?
Prices are raising again really bad.
Really
bad
this
across the board.
Current, I would say 2 weeks, but I really noticed it this week. The salmon is incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Because I paid a lot of money for that salmon.
I mean, listen, if I got to shell you a few bucks to keep getting that salmon, I was like eating one last night.
I found it finally, and I was like,
that was a damn good one.
It's a 9-day difference, and I would rather, it looks better.
The color is different. It's just delicious.
It's like that bright pink.
Yeah.
It's not that whitish.
It's when you eat the same thing every day, well, I'll give you two perspectives. When you eat the same thing every day, you know what you're eating.
Right.
But on the same time, when you eat the same thing every day, you notice a difference that's subtle or more than subtle. And I've liked all the food anyway because I eat the same thing every day. I know what I like. I know what I want. But this past week, the salmon is the best that it's been. Yeah. And also the sirloin is very, very good this week too.
Yeah.
The one that I am eating, I don't know if it's seasoned a little bit differently, but it's very good.
The flank?
Yes.
I don't remember what I made last
It's
week.
very, very good.
I have to remember. I think it was like a churrasco style.
Yeah, it's very good. And when you're eating basic like I am, and let me tell you guys, bodybuilders, this is very important that you understand this. You absolutely can eat seasoning. You should eat seasoning. You can eat salt, pepper. You should eat salt on all your food.
Yeah.
You don't need barbecue sauce and shit like that. But
right.
Dry seasonings, you can eat that stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat.
Carry all the mustaches, though. I do have those people who are like, I do have a couple patients of clients who their doctor recommended because they're on dialysis, so they have to monitor their sodium intake, obviously. But you know what? I cater to that too. I have a special set of my menu, and it says, dialysis.
Which is amazing that you do that.
Yeah, I mean, we really want to make the experience as personalized as possible, which is why we're not popping out, 1,000 meals in a day, because I just can't.
I think that what you have been doing from the time that I met you till now has been fantastic, but it has gotten consistently better.
Thank you.
It's very impressive.
Thanks.
But there's one other thing that you've done that's been very impressive that we haven't even talked about.
My bars or my transformation?
Your transformation. The bars are very good.
It's a toss-up.
The bars are very good. I ate last night very late. I need to stop doing this. I've had this.
I didn't even get to sample the bars last week because I've been that diligent on my diet. I really didn't want to even sample it because I knew I would have just the butterscotch.
Very good. But what I've been doing is I really need to stop
good.
doing this. Is I have been full.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop doing this. I've been full, but the treat is there.
It's so good.
And so I want it.
I know.
And what's happening is I'm already full when I'm eating it, and then I'm giving myself a stomach ache, and I'm laying in bed with a stomach ache. I need to stop doing that.
Hopefully the Greek yogurt soothes the.
Well, either that or I just need to just eat that first.
Yeah.
Come home, eat that.
Then you don't have the nice production that you like to do with the yogurt on top, and then the mixing, so it's evenly coated.
I really need to not do that, or I just need to open up my window a little bit longer where I can eat more. But the transformation, seriously.
Yeah.
From the first video that we did, when we talked about joining up.
Yeah, that was cool.
Till the Beat PG, you did an amazing job with Beat PG last year.
Yeah, third place.
That was outstanding.
Thanks.
And then we started because I coach Alexis. I'm having a lot of fun with it. She's very easy to coach. She just does what she's told. I said, let's try to get jacked for a little while because you like putting on muscle anyway.
Yeah.
And you put on a lot of muscle.
Muscle this year.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was eating a lot to the point where I was like, all right. I don't even think it was like, and it was weird. It was the weirdest meal. It was like meal 4. It was like random one in the middle of the day. That was like the hardest for me to do, eating all this rice and eating all this. Mm-hmm. But what's cool is like, I never had to buy new clothes. I stayed like nice and tight. My weight went up, like 12 pounds, but it looks so good.
And then I was like, look, we're gonna put some muscle on for a while, and then we'll just do a little mini cut at the end.
Yeah. And I'm still eating. Like I'm not starving. So.
But you look so much different. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
like
really cool.
Your body has recomped dramatically.
100%. Recomp has been crazy. That's why, I wasn't really, as a girl, you like want to step on the scale and be like, oh shit, here it goes.
Yep.
And then, but then you're like in your bikini and you're like walking around like, dang, like I never saw that before.
Yeah.
And
the bikini check-ins for me as her coach are exciting.
Well, but yeah, I'm so incredibly happy and just thrilled about the whole transformation. This year's is really cool too because I did the complete opposite of what I did last year.
Last year was like
I went from like mom bod to
you went from mom bod to MILF.
MILF.
And then you went
wasn't gonna
from MILF to Let's Get Jacked.
Let's get jacked.
But you can still be a jacked MILF.
Can.
And put on some really good
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah.
Now we're just toning it up.
Now we're going to tone it up a little bit.
Do you think that now that you look, you pretty much look like a competitor now. So now that you look like a competitor, do you find that it has changed the business? Has it helped the business? Has it not affected it at all? Do people maybe trust you a little bit more
Yeah.
because like, okay, she knows what she's talking about?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Are you a competitor or when's your next show? And I'm just like, no. No. There's no way. But I definitely feel that people trust me a lot more. They respect my advice. They are like, oh, she looks good. She probably knows what she's doing. A lot of support from my fellow moms too, which is
Good.
really cool.
I love that.
To see. Kind of rooting each other on, maybe motivating others, which is like amazing in my book. I would love to be that type of person, be that role model.
You are a great role model.
Thank you. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's changed my business a lot, and it's exposed me to a lot more people too. People come up to my booth and they're like, oh, you're the owner? Okay, cool. So you're in this industry too. I'm like, well, yeah, I've been here for a while. I just, now I'm out, especially since I partnered with you, doing all the shows with you guys last year.
You were
which was
everywhere
really
last
cool. I
year.
was everywhere last year. So
Do you like traveling around like that?
I really, really, really love being the face of my business and also representing my favorite supplement company too.
Which is
really, really,
key.
really cool.
Because if you don't want to do that, it's going to be really hard, man.
I love talking to people.
It's great. When I first started, I loved going everywhere. I was going everywhere I could. Now, all these years later, I don't really like traveling as much.
Yeah.
I like to go to the big events.
Yeah.
I love going to the Arnold and the Olympia and the big events. I do not have, I'm going to be completely honest, I have no desire to go to the smaller events now. They're just brutal for me.
I like seeing some of my local shows because it's like a family, Everybody knows each other. Everybody's there. They know Made2Macro now. It's like a little family, and we get to kind of see each other and root each other on. You get to see maybe some people that you're feeding on stage, which is
and
really
I think
cool.
as a starting company in the fitness industry, you should be out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because word of mouth is huge.
Word of mouth is how I survive.
Yeah.
So me going to these events has been like a true blessing, which is really cool.
Yeah, you're selling your food because social media is a huge tool, and it's easy to sell yourself and it's easy to sell products. The thing that makes it a little bit harder for food is that people are very particular about the food they eat.
I know.
So it could look
Don't
pretty
I
in
know it?
it could look pretty in a picture.
Yes.
And it could be a good deal, but if they haven't tried it yet,
That's exactly what
you got to
problem is.
get them to bite and get in and try. So that's the hardest
So
part.
sampling it was like the biggest thing, because some of these events, like, they won't even let you bring samples.
Yeah.
The local shows are really cool because I can set up my whole shop and bring like fresh food in and be like, bing, bang, boom. Here's my meatballs.
Yep.
Try this. Tomorrow I'll be sampling some of the bars just because it's easier to tote.
Yeah.
And I made some full-size demo meals.
Have they changed? Has COVID really changed the way that you're allowed to sample now?
The last event I went to, there was nobody really monitoring that. Now, if we're in a building that says we cannot do XYZ sampling, like with the actual like buffet style,
Yep.
then I don't know. It would, I think maybe last summer there probably would have been an issue,
Yep.
but I think now it's probably been eased up a little bit.
Fortunately, where we are, it's
Yeah.
I don't know how it is up in New York. They may make
don't
you
know
like
up there.
stand in a plastic box.
They
up
might
there.
in a bubble with your mask and gloves.
It's a shame. I think that that is key for you. I've said it to you from the start. We discussed. I said I need somebody that I can really trust.
Yeah.
In my booth at my shows,
Yeah.
you speak very, very well.
Thank
You're a good people person. You know the products, and I know that you want to be out there, so we can combine it together. And I have somebody that I know I can trust. That I've never had anyone, not one person, say anything other than Alexis did a great job.
Aw, that's great.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pay a demo rep that's just going to sit there and not talk to anybody. And I've seen that happen. I see a lot of companies do that. I've been pretty smart about not letting those people do that for me.
I see it. I see it a lot. Almost at every event.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you gone to an event? There's someone just sitting at a table doing nothing.
They're just sitting out there on their phone.
Yep.
Doing whatever they want to do. They don't give a shit because they probably don't care. They don't own the company. They're not me. They're not you. So it makes a 9-day difference where they're, well, you're the owner. You're shaking hands. You're not behind the table. You're in front of the table. Talking to people.
When I first started Blackstone Labs, I did all the demos, and this is part of the reason why people need to read the E-Myth Revisited. But I was like, how could I have somebody else talking about my stuff? They're not going to know what to say. But people can be taught.
Yes,
they can learn. And I also was so worried about people wanting to meet me and then being mad that I wasn't there. So in the beginning, I just made sure I was everywhere I could possibly be. And as the company really grew, people would say to me, they would say, you're the only CEO of a company this size that's at all these events. And I said, you know what? I do it because I really enjoy just talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And so when I go to the big events, the Arnold Olympia, I stay away from my athletes. I let them do their thing. I pretty much stay away from the sales guys. And I kind of float in my own spot right outside. And I just talk to everybody that comes by all day. And it's just very nice to hear the stories of
course.
I took this product and this happened, and I saw your video and this happened. And that is the most rewarding for me. And I think for you, you're right in the beginning, fun, exciting stage of like getting yourself out there to all those people, and you're going to have more and more stories.
I think so too.
Of people telling you like, man, you changed my life, and that's the most rewarding thing.
Those are the best stories. I feel like even I send you some when I get them too, because I know that you like enjoy that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you should always be very proud of that.
The success stories are fantastic. Like Barbie D'Alessandro, her dad, his blood work is phenomenal.
That's amazing.
And he's been eating my food since before Christmas, since his heart attack.
And when you think about it, when you put it in perspective of you're helping people stay alive longer, that is amazing.
Yeah, that's like my key. Like from not just just being an athlete or bodybuilder, but this guy's legit went from eating fast food every day to only eating my food every day.
How awesome!
And now his blood work is like.
That's beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love it.
Like textbook.
So now from where you're at now, you've grown a lot. Physique has changed a lot. Still a mom. That's not going to change. What else is new? Like what is on the horizon for Made2Macro now? Like where are you going with it now?
Yeah. So we are looking at new packaging prototypes, make a little bit of a nicer, sleeker look, different type of packaging. Not sure if we're going to stick to the vacuum seal or do like a simple like seal with a nice little sleeve. We're looking into, we've been starting the protein by the pound, which a lot of my competitors have been taking advantage of because they like their things fresh.
And so what are you doing by the pound? Just chicken?
No, I do everything.
Oh, you are?
Everything that I cook on my menu, you can get by the pound.
So tell me how that breaks down.
So I basically, for the pricing or for the...
Like, is it 5 pounds? Is it 10 pounds?
Just the $50 minimum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, $50 minimum. So.
What's the biggest you'll go?
I think right now I have somebody buying about 12 pounds of food a week.
A week?
Yeah.
So if somebody has like a big...
That's just because...
Somebody has a freezer in their garage and they're like, hey, I need 20 pounds of steak.
Yeah, and we vacuum seal those.
You'll do it?
Those will always,
Oh, that's great.
Those
that's
will
awesome.
always be vacuum sealed.
Now, when you're doing it, here's something I'm interested in. If somebody wants 10 pounds of chicken, right? How are you portioning it? Is it just coming in a 10-pound bag? Like, here's your chicken?
No, I do it by the pound.
So it's 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound. And are they individual in little containers or?
No, I just put them in the bag with the seasoning.
And it's so you can do, it's a $50 minimum. Do you have to stick to one specific protein or can you do multiple?
Multiple.
Oh, you can? So somebody can come in and say, I want 5 pounds of chicken and 10 pounds of steak.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's another thing that other meal preps offer.
Yep.
It's stupid for me not to offer because I'm already doing it.
You're already doing it, so.
It's stupid for me not to. So we're doing that now. The breakfast really kicked off, even though I said I was not going to do it.
I know, and I tried to
Again,
not like get too behind that because you said that you didn't want to do it. I really enjoy the
I
breakfast.
know you guys do.
I really do. But
I know.
you got to do what's from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being honest. I always tell people there are certain things that I don't do just because we can't make money
Yeah.
that way. So you have to do what's going to be financially smartest for the company.
I just look at my breakfast meal as not like the healthiest.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a gimmick. Like, the protein donuts or the protein this or the protein that. Like, my bars are cool because they're actually oatmeal based.
Yeah.
And normally people eat oatmeal. Like, my breakfast is oatmeal every morning. So I don't feel guilty, eating one, with the Greek yogurt. I don't feel like that's a horrible thing to do. But I'm the type of person where I'm like, if you want a donut that bad, just go get a donut.
Get a regular donut. I was always like that also.
Like, you just go do it. You want a cookie? Go get the cookie. Megalicious makes delicious ones.
So are you,
know?
so does this mean you're staying away from it?
No, I'm going to keep them on board because people like them, and I'm starting to do the bars separately. People like that. Of course, I use your protein, which is cool because, I can switch up the flavors every week and then freeze some older flavors and bring them back out when I need to. Or
When you have people that want the bars, they can contact you and just order a bunch of bars.
they're on my site too now.
The
So you
reason
can
I'm
get-
asking is because
yeah.
we this happened recently.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the answer, but you did accommodate.
So we did
the girl.
accommodate them. They wanted 10 bars, or we sell them in packages of 10 now.
Okay.
So they're just whatever flavor we have.
So when you're making the bars, on average, that one flavor, how many bars do you make?
We make a lot. We make about, just for the breakfast alone, about 40 a week. But then I'll make like an extra 2 trays
Yep.
of the actual bars just to have, because I could take them to events.
Yeah.
I could sell them out.
Well, I mean, the bars are very good. So now
Yeah,
that
they're
now
really
that people know that they can get the bars and they're high in
Yeah.
protein.
I brought you some more pineapple ones
Yeah,
too.
that's a thank you.
You're
That's a good thing for people to know now.
They're really tasty, like I said, but the whole breakfast thing was just like, I can't really hit people's macros exact, but
Yeah.
if I know they're eating my breakfast, I could deduct those macros from the rest of their meals a day.
Yeah.
But it's more time for me to figure out the rest of the macros, which I'm not getting paid for.
What was the most popular breakfast?
Oh man, people love that everything bagel.
That was the best. I didn't want to. I had to feel like that was going to be a pain in the ass one, so I didn't
I
want to
did
say
it again this week.
That one
Yeah.
was the best.
It's everything bagel with the eggs, and then I make the sauce with like this. It's cream cheese and cream and the everything bagel seasonings, and I whip it together, and then just kind of put it on top. It's dreamy.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
Yeah.
That's the
And then with turkey bacon on the side.
going to my boring meals, which are better for my digestion and all my issues.
Yeah.
I do miss the little fancy breakfasts. The breakfasts, I got excited for the breakfast. The breakfasts were good.
Yeah.
You make a hell of a breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, it's all things that if it looks good, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to make it. Even if when I go to restaurants, if I eat something really good, I'm like, I try to dissect it. I'm like, I could do this.
You can do this.
And then I'll put it on my menu. And if it works, it works. If it
It's
doesn't,
fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a fatty up here. It's like the best part of my job.
But that's what makes you a good cook,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah. And then, just we doing the breakfast. But long term, it was really cool seeing, all the trifecta commercials at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And, here's a little Alexis there. And never when I didn't even imagine myself going to any Olympia anytime soon. But, luckily, with COVID, I say luckily, but it did work out for me because it was here in Orlando. So
Yeah.
it was super easy for me to go and, experience it. A little different experience, but I still got to experience the Olympia. So seeing that trifecta up there just really lit a fire up my ass.
Good.
And be like, I know my shit's better.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing is different. And people just need to know about me.
Absolutely.
And that's it. That's all I can do. So this year I plan on getting, maybe some investors involved, putting some more money into it, and just blowing it up this year.
Good.
That's what I would like to do.
Keep on marketing it. The food is amazing.
marketing.
The food is amazing,
Yeah.
and the idea is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I I had about, I think I told you guys that about 7 or 8 companies that reached out, and we did a lot with Fresh Meal Plan and good guys over there. I think their operation was just so mainstream that it was the complete opposite of what you're doing.
Right.
So it didn't really fit. We tried to cater it. I even designed different meals, and there was a landing page. There were more bodybuilding friendly, but most of my bodybuilder friends were like, you know what, man, the price is not that good, and it's just too basic. And I told those guys, I'm like, you guys got your own thing going. You probably shouldn't try to get into fitness as hard as you are. It's just too different than what you're doing. Yeah. So after that, I was just going to base it on whose food that I liked the best. And your food was very, very good. But the fact that you were working out and that you'd use Blackstone Labs product, that really, the authenticity there, that really pulled me in. And so now, growing with you as a friend, as partners, and how far that your company has come, it's very rewarding for me to see it. I truly enjoy.
Very, very blessed to have you in my corner. Like when I reached out to you that day, I was like, maybe he'll answer. We'll see. Sure as shit, you answered, and I was bringing you food 2 days later.
And I don't go away. I don't go away.
Definitely didn't go away. This is like the dream team.
Nope. You got to cheat on me, steal from me at the same time to get me out. Yeah. And even then, I stay for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super proud of you. This was a fun podcast. We talked about a lot of different things. Is there anything else before we sign off that people need to know about Made2Macro?
Oh,
important details.
I feel like we hit everything.
Any new fancy foods that are coming out that we don't know about yet?
Nothing new and fancy.
The by the pound is a very big deal. People.
That's a big deal that a lot of people don't know about yet. It is on our site. And I do have all the specific pricing. A lot of the information is reliant upon me, making sure we have that connection, which is very overwhelming for me as I get more and more clients. So I am trying to implement more staff that is like a duplicate of me, with the nutrition coaching and having those certifications and being able to give advice. And then working alongside the coaches, I think is really going to help.
Good.
This year. So I'll have one on staff to help me. And then he's actually really awesome. He gave me my first job at GNC.
Oh,
wow. He's the best.
That is
He
full
taught
circle.
me like everything I need to know about. And I said, he's actually doing my husband's programming right now for all his training. And I'm doing my husband's food.
What is he training for?
He's just powerlifting, man. He was 227 in December, and I have him up to 260, and he's leg pressing over 1,000 pounds.
Is he? Does he want to compete in a powerlifting competition?
No, he just wants to be strong.
Just wants to be big and strong.
Yeah. That's how I met him. Why not? Big and strong.
What's his favorite lift?
I would say. I would probably say deadlifts.
Deadlifts. I always loved doing chest. I was one of those guys.
He likes chest.
I loved benching when I was young, and now my shoulders are a fucking mess.
I would say deadlifts, though. He's been getting better and better. I think it's because that was like me. I think he likes to push himself. He's like one of those guys like, I think I'm going to get another one.
Yeah.
And he'll go back and do it.
You usually have, they're different mindsets. You've got your bench guys, your squat guys, and then you got your deadlift guys. Yeah. Sometimes you've got a squat and deadlift guy, and that guy usually sucks on the bench. It's very interesting. Yeah. And then you got the bench guy that just benches. That's it. He's got like a 900-pound bench press, and all his other days are like other bench days, and there's like no leg day.
No leg day, yeah.
I tried to be good when I was competing at all three. And coincidentally, or ironically, I was a really good squatter and deadlifter when I was powerlifting and not a good bench presser. And then in my bodybuilding career, my bench press got really good, and my squat and deadlift did not accelerate the way that everything else was.
Really?
Yeah. So I squatted in drug-free, I squatted 550 and deadlifted 550 as an 18-year-old raw. And at 198, so I wasn't even at the top of the class. I was like 195, so I was pretty strong.
That's really strong.
But my bench press raw was only 330. And towards the end of my bodybuilding career, before I wrecked my shoulders, I could do 405 for 10 on the bench, all my workouts, and I loved doing it.
That's awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah, he's enjoying his transformation too. That was his, I was eating more. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna eat more too.
Yeah, get big and strong.
And yeah, so we gained a combined weight of 50 pounds in my house.
But now that your weight is going down, is he going down too?
It is. Not yet.
He's keeping it up.
Yeah.
What if you start getting really lean?
He'll probably feel really shitty.
Yeah, is he going to feel like the fat guy around there?
Oh, he already feels like that.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, he already does. He already 100%. But yeah, I'm excited to shred some more. We've got 3 weeks left.
We're doing it fast, too. It's coming.
I know. This week was really good for me.
Yeah.
I needed
I crept
that.
up slow, and then I was like, boom, we're going to do it fast.
Yeah, this week I really needed it. The first week weight came off, then we kind of plateaued a little bit. But now that we upped our cardio a little bit, it's getting a lot better.
Good. Well, we got 3 more weeks till the end of the BPJ. We're going to see a brand new physique. You're looking pretty jacked right now. Jacked and tan.
I'm super tan.
Yeah, I like it.
I like
It's
to be
good.
tan.
So much more muscle. It's awesome to see.
Yeah.
And a very, very good podcast and a very good friend.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm glad that I had you on here.
Thanks for
I've
having
had 2
me.
very nice podcasts in a row. It's very good. I can go into my weekend and feel like I put some good information out.
You did.
I'm very happy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. That was Alexis, a.k.a. Made2Macro, a.k.a. Alexis from Made2Macro. You can tag her both. You can reach out to her. She always responds fast. She will help you. Don't make her figure out all the macros for you. Get a goddamn
Get
coach.
a fucking coach.
Please. Don't let her do all that stuff. I told her she
Come
can't be
on.
doing all that stuff anymore. Hopefully she listens to me. But her food is really, really good. We love her all very much. Peace out, bye.